Aquarius 16, big businessman at his desk. This is all about good management. Management has its own spiritual dimension. There's a clarity of mind required with management, a decisiveness, a sense of judgment, a sense of balance. These are all spiritual principles. And so just to learn how to become a good manager is excellent spiritual training, because we lose our fluffy, confused mindedness and we actually focus on the matter in hand. And if you don't have that level of focus, you're not going to get very far on a spiritual level. Fluffy and ill-defined doesn't work at the higher levels of spiritual mastery. So just training to be good at management is excellent stepping stone on your spiritual path. If you are a good manager, then think about what you're going to do with that. Some people invest that skill in the pursuit of fame and fortune, and others invest that skill in the pursuit of structures and communities and groups that support their spiritual life. So they'll use their management skills in order to arrange the furtherance of our spiritual agenda. Now this latter group is rare, much rarer than the first, of course. And yet if you're a truly spiritual person and you have management skills, then the thing to do is to try to use them to create for yourself a sustainable life using spiritual principles. Build up a business as a healer or a teacher, or work for a group of people that are doing that, or whatever. Find an alignment between what you believe in and how you're applying your management skills. This is what this degree is talking about, actually. The character building side of this exercise goes beyond the skills of being able to get the job done, and it embraces the sort of understandings of attending to your principles and doing the right thing. And it is inconceivable that you can actually go to the nth degree in your career if you have an employer without sometimes not doing the right thing. It's right to tell the truth. It's wrong not to tell the truth. Very few people who get very far in management or any career have been able to do that without bending the truth. In other words, telling lies. And that's a corruption. That's just one example. Another is working for a company who has a total disregard for the slave labor that they're using to produce their goods in the Far East, and the ecological implications of their manufacturing processes, or whatever it is, or dissemination of lies. Advertising, for example, most companies advertise and the advertisements are not accurate. And if you're working for such a company, then you have responsibility for that. You have to align your work and your development with your principles. And if you are not principled, then you can work for these agencies that are destroying the planet. But if you are principled, then no, you can't work for them. You have to find someone to work for, or work for yourself in a way which supports your vision of a spiritual world that we're trying to create. That's what this mystery is saying. Whatever we apply ourselves to and give our attention to and our energy to must be of consequence. If it's not, then we're just wasting it. Either we're relaxing, or we're achieving a purpose, or we're relating, or we're achieving something else. We have to make sure that what we're giving our attention to has consequence. And when we see that certain results occur as an outpouring of our energetic pursuits and allocation of attention, the results measure the consequence of what we're doing. So if what you do has consequences which are not what you want, something's wrong. You have to notice the consequences of what it is that you're doing. And if that's in alignment with your vision, then you're on track. If it's not, then you've lost your direction. And many people say, well, I need to get a job to get money to do what I want to do. And that's a misunderstanding. That necessarily brings you into the processes of distortion that the mainstream world work by. It's not a valid principle to do it that way around. You have to affirm what it is you want in life, what you desire, what you believe in. You have to affirm that and behave consistently with that. And it's not okay to do something else in order to do that later. That is so commonly used as an argument. When I get my money, then I'll do the thing I want to do with my life. And if they get the money, which they usually don't, they forget what they wanted to do, because you lose it on the way. If you actually move into that money-based system, you lose your sense of self. You lose your clarity of vision. It's a dangerous game to play, to enter the mainstream world. Very dangerous game, and most people cannot play it. They lose so much. And what they lose most of all is their understanding of themselves as spiritual beings. So, if you have management skills now, reapply them to furthering your spiritual vision, and that will bring you back onto the track, which will lead eventually to joy and happiness. And if you're actually serving any situation where the outcome is degenerate and against your principles, just stop it immediately. Immediately, just stop it, because it's wrong. I know that's dramatic and radical, but it's necessary. You're serving the devil, metaphorically speaking. And you're not having faith that your light is strong enough to carry you through. That's possibly the worst part of it, that you're working out of fear. You have to do what you believe in. Eventually, we have to come to the position of indifference to condemnation or applause. Because what we're doing is radical. It's at the root of everything. And it does not receive community support from the wrong community. So whenever we move from being in the wrong community towards being in the right community, wrong for us, right for us, that's all I'm saying, no moral judgments. Whenever we do that, we have to change the foundation of our lives at root. And when we do that, that unsettles the people that won't do that. And they'll condemn us. Or they will applaud us for being the same as them. And seduce us into doing the thing that really isn't very good for us. So one of the things that we have to do is to learn to be indifferent to whether people approve of what we're doing or not. You have to say what we want to say, whether or not it gets likes on Facebook or Instagram. You know, just get your own message out there and be indifferent to whether you get support or condemnation. That's a real test of spiritual attainment.